This marks the second part of this manhwa. If you haven't viewed the previous parts, you can access it by clicking the I button located above, or the link is provided in description. Let's aim for 200 likes on today's video. To show your support, consider subscribing to the channel. Let's begin our recap video for today's manhwa. With the sound of a drum exploding, memorization was scattered in all directions. Although he uses powerful martial arts, there are no gaps. As the quality of energy improved, so did the posture. Pure white energy emanated from Ayen's body as she lowered her posture with June behind her. There was a look of surprise on the face of Mabang. He stated, "That's amazing. Even if she's a girl, she is better than his younger brother?" So that's the Yeon Clan's secret, the divine first black mistletoe technique. She thinks she has to hurry at the rate, but her thoughts were interrupted as Mabang stated she is a cold-hearted sister. She is only using her secret techniques after his brothers collapsed. She grinned her teeth in anger. He continued by saying how cute, he will end her short life. She rushed forward to attack while shouting, "Shut up." As she used her hidden secrets technique, her movement speed became faster, but the surprised Mabang swung the dagger in his left hand roughly. Her upper body moved flexibly and avoided all the daggers. There was poison on the dagger, but if even a single blow is hit her, her combat power will be drastically reduced. That sense of crisis made her five senses extremely sensitive. She used the lesser sky foot technique to quickly close on him, and her hand struck Mabang's abdomen, causing him to push backward and lower his head. She thinks she has finally landed a good hit. Taking advantage of the situation, she rushed forward, but to her surprise he threw a dagger toward her, causing her to halt her assault and dodge the dagger. She thinks that he counterattacking after getting hit by her attack. He roared in pain, his voice echoing through the air. Fueled by anger, he hurled the daggers once more, this time with even greater force. Seeing the incoming threat, she used her secret technique to deflect the daggers. Seizing the opportunity, Mabang charged forward, aiming a mighty kick at her. Swiftly she attempted to block the attack with her left arm and countered with a punch from her right hand, sending him reeling backward. But Ayen collapsed to the ground instead of Mabang. He with a smile stated as expected that martial art was too much for her. Despair appeared on her face. Struggling to catch her breath, she found it difficult to even stand up. He asked his subordinates what are all of them doing and ordered them to attack as she was all exhausted. She thinks, is this the end? The moment his breathing became disrupted and the chi of his was cut off. "See that?" Jipyeong worriedly exclaimed, "Brother!" But there was no answer from Hojeong. He gritted his teeth in frustration and stated if he doesn't go, he will go himself. Jipyeong jumped over the railing in one go, stepped on the railing of the third and second floors, and came down to the first floor. Hojeong, who had been focusing his gaze on her for a long time, lowered his head. He sighed and thinks there's only so much he can do here, then tightly grabbed an iron rod and threw it with full force. Meanwhile, the subordinate of Mabang is hitting Ayen, causing her to crash to the ground, and she thinks her strength is gone. One of Mabang's subordinates shouted after jumping around like a female horse in mating season, but instead this sight of her is amazing, and asked the squad leader if they can get a taste of her. The person was hit by the iron rod. She startled and looked at the fallen corpse. The fallen corpse was truly horrific. The upper part of the neck was roughly torn off, as if it had been crushed by the hand of a giant. The blown heads were broken into pieces and scattered everywhere. And next to the body, a long iron bar was stuck in the ground. The people looked at the main gate of Thorny Melody Pavilion. There was a young man walking towards them while breathing lightly. Mabang's eyes suddenly changed, and he asked, "Who is he?" She thinks he is the Green Mountain Yeon Clan young master. Is he going to help her? If so, then why is he glaring at her like that? At that time, one person came up holding a club. He stated if the captain asks him something, he should answer it quickly, "You little bastard." The approaching person collapsed and did not get up again. He picked up the dead person's club and started moving towards the group of people. Gathered people seeing this, their eyes widened in shock and started whispering, "He wasn't fainted, he is dead. How on earth did he kill him?" He stamped his feet. At that moment Mabang felt the hair on his head stand on end and stated, "Stop it." As soon as he finished speaking, Hojeong charged forward, striking the first person on the shoulder, then swiftly moving on to hit the second person on the head. Finally he swung the club once more, connecting with the third person's head. Hojeong continued his relentless assault, dispatching one adversary after another. After a little while later, only Mabang remained standing. Mabang thinks it was a one-hit kill. Some people died with their heads broken, but others died after being hit in the chest or lumbar spine. He hit only their death pressure points. He couldn't smile like before and questioned just who is he, but Hojeong looked down at her without answering. Her eyes trembled slightly. She thanked him for saving her, but he grabbed her wrist. She asked, "Hey, what is he doing?" But he replied by saying, "Remain silent." He started checking his ki, while thinking, show him her true ki, is she his enemy or not? Then he released his grip and turned around saying, "Take his brother and leave." Confused, she stood still for a moment, and then exclaimed that guy's main weapons are those daggers. He also has hidden weapons. Each blade is coated with poison. If he gets scratched even once, he will be in trouble. In response, he questioned, "Didn't she hear him? Get out of here. She's in the way." She then picked up June and exclaimed, "Then she leaves." He turned his gaze to Mabang. Mabang inquired, "Is he done acting strong in front of a girl in his state?" He replied by saying, "Not from the teachings of silent white frost. Is it the teachings of silent red fire?" Mabang's face turned pale and inquired how did he know his martial art. He chuckled and began to rotate the club, and he asked, "Here's a question for him. Which technique did he think he will show him now?" Meanwhile, she carried his brother for treatment, and she thinks it's annoying. Flustered, she shouted she will make him indebted to her next time. Eldest son of the Yeon Clan. Shinmo shouted from behind, saying, "Master Jipyeong, they have handled the flames at the southwestern gate. Should they support the eldest young master?" Jipyeong's expression was strange. It seemed like he was scared of something, but it also seemed like he was surprised. Shinmo looked at Jipyeong with puzzled eyes. Jipyeong questioned the Blue Operations Squad leader. Did he think his brother needs their help? Meanwhile, Hojeong and Mabang's fight continued, and he landed a solid hit on Mabang's head with the club, causing him to take a momentary pause, and then in response, Mabang threw a dagger at him, that he dodged by leaping into the air and landed another hit on the back of Mabang as he landed to the ground. Mabang readied himself for another attack, but Hojeong stated, "Let's end this. He is starting to get bored." Mabang questioned what he is talking about. He replied, as he said earlier, he is using the teachings of silent red fire from that silent god, the greatest assassin in the world, so he was looking forward to it. But seeing it in action, he is just using it to bolster his dual daggers. Is he not ashamed? Mabang inquired, "What's it to him, Mr. Know-It-All?" Hojeong questioned, how can he even call himself the Lord of Fire and Lightning? There wasn't even a speck of fire ki in those attacks. A lord unbefitting of his name, to be honest. Did he really learn this technique from the silent god? No, actually, have he even seen the real teachings of silent red fire in action? In a cave, a person used his hand to carve a hole in the wall and began drawing something. Hojeong approached and inquired about the four guardian gods technique. The old man with silver white hair responded, "It starts with the North divine energy." Hojeong asked, "Why is that?" The old person stated, "The water god's ki is the most firm of the four guardian gods, and it's delicate. At its peak it can block even battering rams and cannons, and it'll delicately refine his martial arts. That is the god of the north, the water god of the 60th year of the sexagenary cycle." Suddenly ceasing his drawing, the person revealed a drawing of the water god to Hojeong. Then he inquired if he wants to awaken the four guardian gods. What must he do? The old person stated, to tell the truth, he is not at that stage. So take advantage of the enemy's murderous intent and fighting spirit. The hellfire-like rage will bring out the water god's energy. Mabang, grinding his teeth in anger, and questioned if it's his wish, he will show him, and dropped his dagger and rushed towards him. It seemed as if a red flame was coming out from within his eyes, and he stated these are the teachings of the silent red fire he was talking about, and started launching attacks one after another, which was easily dodged by Hojeong. Hojeong thinks he is weak and stated, with only this much fire, he can't even stop the piss of an ant, and questioned isn't he have any other talents? In response he in anger shouted, "You bastard, even his internal organs, all of it, is damaged by it. He will burn him and release more flames that envelop his body." And he rushed to attack Hojeong with more speed and power, but he dodged his attack again. And he chuckled, seeing that Mabang became more aggressive, and after a little more attempts of attacks, he caused Hojeong to drop the club. Taking advantage of the situation, Mabang rushed forward exclaiming, "Die, you bastard," and launched a powerful palm attack. In response, Hojeong used his palm to block the attack. Mabang chuckled and stated he is a stupid bastard. He will burn him starting from his limbs. But to his surprise, water vaporized from his palm clash, and the next moment he realized that he is standing in the water. Confused, he inquired, "What is this?" Then a huge tortoise appeared from it. Shocked, he exclaimed that his black art. Hojeong breathed a sigh of relief and thought it woke up. The water god of the 60th year of the sexagenary cycle, the ruler of the north. The tortoise. The water energy emitted by Hojeong was blown by the wind and created the shape of a translucent divine beast. The divine beast had a strange appearance with the head of a snake and the body of a turtle. Mabang looked at his hand and thought his fire isn't gathering. Did he get all used up by that bastard? The teachings of the silent red fire? He was coughing up blood and screamed he is son of a bitch. What did he do to his skills? Mabang punched with his face covered in blood. Although the fist was swung with little internal strength left, the destructive power was sufficient. As a result, when Hojeong hit him, it caused him to crash to the ground. Hojeong approached him and exclaimed thanks to him, he was able to take out the tortoise easily. Mabang pleaded him so he didn't kill him and offered him that he will give him something in return. But Hojeong stated that he play as much as he wants with the fire he loves so much, and kicked him on the face, causing him to fall into fire behind him that he ignited himself. A fierce flame engulfed Mabang. He who suffered severe internal and external injuries was unable to escape from the flames. An eerie scream echoed throughout the entire Thorny Melody Pavilion. Jipyeong shuddered in horror as he watched a person being burned alive. The following day at Thorny Melody Pavilion, the first worker inquired how are the outer walls. They were burnt a lot, right? The second worker stated this is not bad. Only being damaged this much is a miracle. From what he heard, the young master of the Green Mountain Yeon Clan caught the arsonist himself. A beggar standing next to the worker questioned share a bit of information with him. What happened here? The first worker said he heard he not only caught the arsonist but burned him to death. The second worker commented what kind of nonsense. Would the young master of the Orthodox Faction's prestigious clan do that? The first worker stated he is telling him it's true. The beggar added can he give him a bit more information? The second worker replied he didn't have any left. Then the old person rushed towards him, saying you journeyed all the way here? The old person was the lord of Thorny Melody Pavilion. While grabbing his hand he stated, had he contacted them in advance, they would have cleared their schedules for him. The beggar inquired how could a beggar dare take the time of the Thorny Melody Pavilion's lord? He came to see if the restoration was going well. The lord exclaimed it's been very easy, thanks to the help from the beggar's sect. The beggar stated if he ever have any trouble, please let them know any time. Both the workers watched them in confusion. As the beggar leaves, one of the workers inquired who is that person. The lord stated he's the person who hired you guys to help the Thorny Melody Pavilion. Both the workers became nervous at the remark. The lord continued with his talk, saying he is from the Orthodox Faction's information organization, the beggar's sect successor, and his name is Duksang. Meanwhile Duksang stated he beat him with no difficulty. Mabang, one of the Orthodox Faction's 13? He is dying of curiosity. He better see with his own 2 eyes what the young master of the Green Mountain Yeon Clan is like. The next place to beg is at the gathering of successors. At the moment Hojeong practiced with the iron rod in the forest. He thrust the iron rod into the tree. He thinks the guardian tortoise is a martial art specialized in defense, but if he makes good use of the force supplied from defense, it can be converted into a great offensive martial art. The guardian tortoise was also effective at purifying turbid ki. Since ancient times it's been said that if the guardian tortoise's ki is strong, when there will be no turbid ki in his body. He turned around as Shinmo questioned is he finished with his training, young master? He stated he is, but what about Jipyeong? Shinmo replied he said he wanted to be left alone for a bit. Hojeong inquired is Jipyeong really said that? And then he looked at the members of the Blue Operation Squad. He became confused. And thinks why is the atmosphere like this? Seeing Ayen he stated wait why is she here for? If she has recovered then returned to the Jegal clan. She stated she wants to ask him something. Meanwhile Jipyeong climbed a taller tree and was sitting on it, and exhaling deeply, and thinks he thought he knew a lot about his brother, but was he wrong about his brother? Then his thoughts were interrupted, as he heard the voice of his brother saying stop following him. Ayen stated she is going to keep following until he gives her an answer. Seeing both of them Jipyeong thinks, brother and the person from the Jegal clan, what are they doing here? He pondered what his father and brother would do if they were in his position. His father might have said eavesdropping is not the etiquette of the Orthodox Faction. As for his brother he should have followed them. Then he said he is sorry father, and started following them. A little later Hojeong stated fine. What is it? She want to know. She exclaimed she used the divine first black birch tree technique to struck a blow filled with this ki into Mabang's abdomen, and while trembling she questioned so how was he not damaged at all, and how was he able to defeat him so easily? He stated her ki. It's wood ki right? She in confusion remarked sorry but what he is talking about. He explained a cool, soft and refreshing scent. Her ki smells like birch trees, whereas the bastard's martial arts teachings of the silent red fire is fire ki, like a burning fire. If she throw firewood into a vigorously burning fire, do she think the fire will go out? He was not a Good match for her. She thinks I see. She didn't even think of it being due to the different properties of Ki. He exclaimed then he should be leaving. She stated let her ask one more thing. Didn't he think it was a bit cruel? The bastard who was burned to death, the one called the Lord of Fire and Lightning. He questioned why was it cruel. She replied a normal person would definitely think it was cruel. Wouldn't everyone who saw the scene have been shocked? He thinks now he understands the reason Jipyeong wanted to be alone, and why the atmosphere before was like that. This place is the Orthodox Faction, and he acted like the Black Emperor. He stated that bastard threatened his brother and her life, and he's a villain who started a fire and endangering the lives of countless people. She replied that's true. He continued by saying death is fair to everyone, whether she is a good person or a bad person, but death will find her all the same. So in that case, shouldn't how she died be different at least? Villains must die painfully, that's what he believed to be just and fair. She thinks just how old is this person? He looks to be her age, but he speaks as if he were his father's age. And she inquired did he know? His speech and aura feel like an old person's. He replied by saying he's 18. She stated then stop frowning as he has this frown on his face as if he has lived through every day already. At the moment he noticed Jipyeong and thinks one day he will understand. She thinks in any case she only keeps receiving help from this person. She stated she hates being indebted to people. He responded by saying then do something so she's not. She stated shut it. But in any case she is 1 year older than him so he should know and call her Nuna. 2 days before the gathering of the successors at Anhui City, Shinmo informed that they have arrived. This is Anhui City. A little later Shinmo knocked the door while exclaiming is he in there? This is the Green Mountain Yeon Clan. Please open the door. Then the door opened and the person standing in front inquired if they are from the Green Mountain Yeon Clan. He stated that's right. He is. Shinmo in charge of the escort. The person introduced himself saying that he is Han Homeong of the Sichuan clan. It's an honor to meet the warriors of the Yeon Clan. Shinmo stated you are Sichuan the poison dragon steel whip Han Homeong? Hojeong thinks did he say Sichuan? Then that person behind him is from the Tang clan. As he pressed his chest, he recalled the old memory when Dang Quan had struck him with a cow hair needle. He thinks he has a debt to repay to Dang Quan. He's that bastard Dang Quan's son. Shinmo stated this is the first young master of their clan, Yeon Hojeong, and the second young master Yeon Jipyeong. Han Homeong stated he have heard a lot about them. Which one is the second young master? He heard that his talent was outstanding. Both Jipyeong and Shinmo grinned their teeth in anger thinking how rude, and as Shinmo about say something, Hojeong intervened saying squad leader Shin, let's settle down and start eating since he is hungry, and they all leave. Han Homeong became surprised and stated he completely ignored him. Tang Yangxian replied he's got guts despite his appearance. He dared to be so rude to a man from the Tang clan. He is looking forward to the gathering of the successors. 2 days later at the banquet hall of the successors, Peng Manho stated it's been a while. Peng Daeho exclaimed she became so pretty. Seeing them Hojeong thinks they are from Peng clan. It's the clan of Hebei's conquerors. He met those twins 2 days ago. He examined his inner key while shaking hands with him, but it had a different nature from the villain. She is from the Maang clan, and she's the daughter of Maang Gun. Thinking of Maang Gun's betrayal, he gritted his teeth in anger. Hojeong turned around thinking he shouldn't be bothered with them right now, which means there's only one clan left, the Mayong clan. Where's the successor of the Mayong clan? Meanwhile Ayen searched for him, and a little later she found him, and she thinks where is he going? Both Manho and Daeho thinks she is pretty. Other girls that are gathered at banquet hall said to Ayen while laughing, please visit their house at some point. Laughing Ayen turned around and he see Ayen. He stated he will be taking his leave and moved towards her. As he was about to say something to her, she shouted Hojeong's name. He turned around and stated she again? She stated it's been a while. He said it's only been 2 days. She questioned that's more reason to be glad to see him. Who is he looking for? Is he looking for her? He exclaimed stop following him, he is busy. She responded by saying he isn't his dad. Ayen thinks why is he together with her? How is this happening and why? She stated she didn't know that the Yeon clan's martial art was so powerful. He replied it's not something to brag about. She added he is being humble. He stated he is being honest. He needs to get stronger. She inquired is he trying to become the strongest in the world or something? He responded by saying being the best is better than being average. Ayen thinks their Namgung clan is closest to being the strongest. Hojeong stated nobody is absolutely invincible in Murim. All he can do is keep getting better endlessly. She stated he is right, but there's one person. isn't there? One who deserves to be called the strongest in the world. The Four Directions Martial Emperor, the legendary warrior who subjugated the blood religion disaster 300 years ago. He thinks his name is so childish. She explains, according to history, the Four Directions Martial Emperor deserves to be called the strongest in the world, because he's supposed to have learned 4 different martial arts that can maximize attack, defense, and evasion. She heard he even had a golden dragon working under him later on. They said he was called the Yellow Dragon Emperor or something. She also thinks that it's too exaggerated. She called his name, but he was immersed in his thoughts. He was thinking about attack, defense, and evasion, and 4 different martial arts? Those are the characteristics of the 4 Guardian Gods technique. Moreover, Yellow Dragon Key is the ultimate form of the 4 Dragon Gods technique. Maybe the 4 Directions Martial Emperor inherited the 4 Guardian Gods technique. He requested tell him more about it. But their talk was interrupted by Yang Xian saying, "It looks like they are having fun," and he asked can he join them while sitting on the chair. Hojeong nodded and Ayen stated, "Sure, let her introduce him to you." He is, but his talk was interrupted by Yang Xian saying he don't need to. He already know who he is, and he is not here to see him anyway. She thinks smells like she stepped into shit. Yang Xian stated pour him the tea. She chuckled and threw the cup towards him, and replied he should pour it himself. He stated pour the tea. She replied no. He questioned but she went ahead and did it for him. She replied Hojeong is his friend. He replied by saying he could be her friend too. She stated sure he will if only he wasn't so rude. Then they both smiles and he said she's pretty cute. It's refreshing because she is different from the other girls who are so obedient. As her expression became serious, Ayen intervened saying hey he did better stop. Stop bothering people and stand up. Yang Xian replied by saying hey he shouldn't stand behind a person from the Tang clan if he values his life. Ayen stated even if he is from the Namgung clan, the strongest clan of swordsmen? Yang Xian stands up from the chair and turns towards him while saying, the strongest swordsman can't hold a candle against the strongest in the world. Ayen inquired strongest in the world? Who is he calling the strongest? Yang Xian stated it's obviously the Sichuan Tang clan. Hojeong thinks that child's play. Then someone shouted from behind who is the strongest in the world? What kind of idiots call themselves the strongest when their Yeon clan is here? See him. Hojeong tightened his grip on the teacup and thinks, that man is from the Mayong clan. He is Yeon clan's 3rd young master Mayong Horm. As Mayong Horm came down the stairs, the gathered crowd looked at him with confused expressions. Then Horm stated unrivaled? Perhaps if it was the Namgung clan, or the Murim clan. He stated but the Tang clan while smirking. Yang Xian became angry at his remark and questioned what did he just say. Horm stated know this. He shouldn't say the word unrivaled so thoughtlessly in the Murim world. Yang Xian inquired what he talking about and Horm added besides that, why don't he calm down? It makes him look weak. Yang Xian shouted in anger how dare he look down on the Tang clan? As he rushed towards him, Ayen shouted Hojeong's name in worry, alarming him to be careful. Meanwhile a teacup was thrown towards Horm, which he grabbed with his left hand and broke it, distracting Yang Xian and halting their fight. Hojeong stated that's his mistake, it's just slipped his finger. Horm questioned a mistake, and Hojeong nodded in agreement. He started glaring towards Hojeong and laughed. He is a pretty funny young man. And inquired which clan is he from? Hojeong replied focus on the one he have been dealing with. As Yang Xian covered his whole body in pinkish qi and stated bastard from the Yeon clan. If he needlessly but in he will kill him first. Is he ready? Turn into a pool of blood the idiot of the Yeon clan. As he said that a teacup hit his head forcefully, causing him to lose consciousness and fall to the ground. Hojeong stated he is being a disturbance while standing from his chair. As Ayen stated hey you, don't make this incident bigger than it is. He thought this bastard what is he doing? Meanwhile Hojeong stood in front of Horm and he thought his key is similar to the villain's key but he is not certain. What he felt back then is slightly different. He should check properly. And he released his key and directed towards him, seeing that Horm thinks he's trying to read his key. In response he also used his key to block off Hojeong's key. Jipyeong rushed forward exclaiming his name, but Ayen stopped him saying don't go any closer. Jipyeong stated but if they don't stop them. She thinks she knows what he mean but she also doesn't understand what's going on. However they cannot stop a man with such eyes. Homeyoung worriedly exclaimed young master, is he alright? Yang Xian inquired what the hell is he doing and why his head hurt. And then he pushed Homeyoung away stating let go of him. And thought he fainted? He is a legitimate member of the Tang clan and he fainted due to a mere cup? Then he covered his body again in qi while Homeyoung nervously exclaimed his name. As Yang Xian looked around he saw the back of Hojeong. his eyes sparkling with fire. Seeing this, Jipyeong shouted, "Brother, be careful." As Yang Xian rushed towards Hojeong, mumbling to himself, he threw his fist towards Hojeong, exclaiming he would kill him. The fist, filled with ki energy, reached right in front of Hojeong. A cruel smile appeared on Yang Xian's face as he stated to kill him painfully. This marks the conclusion of the second part of this manhwa. The third part will be uploaded tomorrow, so don't forget to show your support by liking and subscribing to the channel for future updates. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.